G'day guys, Tim here from Beat the Reset with, of course, the Sam Lawrie of silver from Liberty Bullion here at the beautiful Gold Conference on the Gold Coast, Sammy.
Absolutely, Timmy. What a time to be alive, mate.
What a time to be alive at the beautiful QT building.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place.
It is.
We couldn't do the other a couple of weeks ago because they were hit with a couple of storms.
Yeah, little weather event. Some people say that it was naturally occurring. Some have other theories. Interesting weather.
You sound like a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, mate, never. I love my government. My media tells me the truth, and I keep all of my dollars in a bank account.
Damn it. Okay, you're going to be wealthy one day. All right. Moving right along, Sammy. Now, you've just come from centre stage. You were hosting a panel full of panelists.
I was on a panel full of panelists.
Yeah. Now, you're a major sponsor of this event.
Yes.
The major sponsor.
Yep.
You're 28 years of age. You've got your head screwed on the right way around. So what can you share with us so far? You were on the stage. How did it feel being up there? What was your message primarily?
It was absolutely electric. The crowd was the biggest that I've ever spoken to before. So that was just insane in of itself. But getting up on stage, and it wasn't just me, it was a panel full of panelists, other CEOs of gold companies and all sorts up there. It was great. And in terms of my message, look, I've got my full presentation tomorrow, but I was essentially talking gold, silver, counterparty risk, why bullion specifically over, say, mining shares. Look, there's reasons for both, but I was talking about the reasons for bullion in particular, lower risk, zero counterparty risk in general, those sorts of things. Whereas tomorrow's big speech, I've got about a 50-minute slot. It's going to be talking about the disrespect of property rights across the West. I think that's a big theme at the moment that investors need to be aware of. Should be a great event.
Sammy, that is a major topic because I personally, what I'm understanding about the WEF and the UN is they're moving towards the removal of all ownership.
Yep.
And the interesting thing about your background, I mean, first of all, you were in foreign exchange. Yep. You understand how this works.
Yep.
You understand the derivatives markets. You're a CFD trader.
Yep. And I was a CFD broker for years. I worked in CFDs. I worked in derivatives. I was right at the coalface of derivatives. And it's a casino. It's just a simple way to put it.
So how is gold and silver, physical gold and silver, different to derivatives?
So the easy answer there is counterparty risk. So when you open a derivative contract on gold or silver with a CFD broker like the guys I used to work for, yes, you get price exposure. So if the price goes up, you can profit. But you're trusting your CFD broker that they're good for the dollars. And here's the thing, if all of their clients were to go long on gold and gold would absolutely rip and they weren't to cover that exposure elsewhere, that CFD broker would go broke. And everybody who had long gold with them would have no recourse on how to collect their rightly owed funds. So that's why I say physical gold, physical silver. And when you hold it yourself, when you own it physically, there is no trusting the counterparty that they're good for it or anything like that. It's yours.
100%. So, okay. So, Sammy, at the moment, gold is skyrocketing.
Yep, absolutely.
Can you share some, maybe some personal insights? Why is this happening to gold? Why is it just a fluke? The gold happens to be going up.
Was it a fluke that gold went up 40% last year? I say no. Is it a fluke that gold's up almost 20% in the last 3 or 4 months? I also say no, not a fluke. Look, what we're seeing, guys, is we're seeing capital rotation out of real estate, out of the share market at the moment. I mean, you look at what's going on in the US share market with Donald companies' tariffs. People are getting out. They're running for the exits, and they're running towards the safe haven asset. In a marketplace like this, when the share market's getting pummeled, real estate's following, and every other asset is down, and gold is the one lone asset that's up. Guys, where do you think people are going to run to, right? This is an inflation hedge, safe haven asset. Tariffs, highly inflationary. Dropping interest rates, highly inflationary. Printing currency, highly inflationary. On top of all that, you've got a falling stock market. So whereas people would normally try and buy stocks to protect themselves from the money printer, that's not working at the moment. So they're rushing towards the one thing that is working, and that is gold. Who could have possibly have seen it?
So why, question for you though, Sammy, I mean, so why can't I just do this in cash in a commercial bank? Why can't I just get all my assets, sell them and put the cash in the commercial bank? Is that going to do the same thing?
Absolutely not, Timmy. And the reason is because cash is fiat currency that they print out of thin air every day. And a commercial bank is a glorified gambling institution that gambles with your funds. So can you get the same outcome from cash in a commercial bank as you can from physical gold in your own possession? Absolutely not. First of all, you can't print gold. That is why the price is fundamentally going up. It's priced in dollars. You can print dollars out of thin air. You can't print gold. Gold price goes up. Super simple stuff. And secondly is the risk side of things. So we talked about the reward, the risk. The risk of keeping funds in a commercial bank cannot be understated. Guys, they've written the bail-in legislation. It's there. If you hold physical gold yourself, there is no such thing as the bail-in. It's yours. There is no bail-in. If the banking system collapses, who cares? Not you, everybody else.
100%. Now, Sammy, I also want to point out something interesting. We're at a gold conference, but now you tell me the answer to this question. Are you allowed to talk about silver at a gold conference?
Look, I have had special permission from Kerry.
All right. Don't want to upset Kerry, good.
But having said that, the majority of what people are talking about here today is gold. Gold is the gut reaction. Gold is the king of the precious metals. Gold is what everybody thinks of first. And to be fair, the gold price is the one that's really putting in big numbers at the moment. Having said that, silver is still on people's minds. We've had a few businesses or mining companies that also mine silver coming up and talking about the opportunity there. I've made mention, of course, of the gold to silver ratio at 100 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold. So look, people coming in today, new investors for the first time, of course, gold's a great investment. It's always been a great investment. As long as they keep printing currency, the price of gold will continue going up over the long term. Having said that, at a gold to silver ratio of 100 ounces of silver per 1 ounce of gold, guys, you've got to be looking at silver here. Silver should be where you're concentrating. It is so cheap.
Yeah, so I was wondering that, silver is still my personal favorite asset.
Same.
And here we are at a gold conference, and our favorite assets are actually in silver.
Yes.
Question on platinum. Now, obviously, platinum is slightly different, and I love you've educated me a lot on the value of platinum. I've even started buying a little bit of platinum thanks to you, but it's on the industrial side.
It is.
So how's platinum kind of sitting at the moment? How's it sort of, with these markets coming off, where does it sit?
So platinum did come off with the rest of the overall markets, particularly with the commodity space. So copper took a big dive, oil took a big dive,
Yes.
silver took a dive with them, less of a dive, but a dive nonetheless, and platinum did follow. All of these being an industrial drop-off in demand, or an expected industrial drop-off in demand. Now, platinum and silver both recovered very strongly out of the bottom, which is, very promising, showing signs of real strength here. So for me, I'm still extremely bullish platinum here. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the money printers are getting turned back on. The interest rates are dropping. Yes, we might see some short-term volatility from some big headlines about tariffs, but guys, we're long-term investors here. We're not day traders. So any short-term drop should be treated as an opportunity, not fear. And you need to be buying the dips because, guys, these assets, they're going one direction over the long run.
Yeah, it's interesting because the markets got smashed, Sammy. I mean, they got smashed.
Absolutely.
And of course, we're also watching rotation out of superannuation into self-managed super funds. People were unaware that you could actually escape the clutches of the bond market.
Yes, yes.
So I want to ask your opinion. As a guy that's done a lot of trading, being in superannuation, you're sitting largely in stocks and bonds.
Yes.
Good or bad?
Bad, particularly bonds. Right? Look, stocks can do well, stocks can do poorly. They're a risk. Okay, any business is a risk. Any business. Sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't. Bonds, big no on bonds. The reason I say that is today, if you want to buy an Australian government bond, you're going to lock in a 4.5% interest rate. Now that might sound great, but keeping in mind that real inflation is probably around the 10% mark. So you're actually moving backwards 5.5% every year that you hold bonds. So during the 1970s, which I keep talking about is the highly inflationary period, it's a great analog of where we are today. They used to call bonds certificates of confiscation during the 70s. And do you know why they said that? It's because let's say that you locked in bond prices at the beginning of the 70s when gold was about 35, 50, $100 an ounce US. Awesome. So you locked in 6, 7, 8, 9% interest. Cool. Well, interest rates went up from there. and the value of the US dollar went down from there. So bondholders got absolutely obliterated in the markets. And keep in mind, guys, that in traditional portfolio theory in finance, your super fund's going to be putting your 60-40, either 60% equities, shares, and 40% bonds if you're young, high risk, or if you're a bit older, they're going to put you further into bonds, 60% bonds, and then 40% equities. Guys, I've just told you, bonds are garbage, absolute garbage, certificates of confiscation. So if 60% of everything you've ever worked for, your life savings, is tied up in absolute garbage, how do you think you're going to fare?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we saw about 4.2% wiped off the ASX 200. And of course, a lot of the stock and bonds are coming from superannuation are on those kind of markets. So, Sammy, now we don't like to do predictions, but we kind of, our audience likes to do predictions. I mean, they love it. I mean, I know, you know what I mean? We're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, right? So, Sammy, your prediction, gold's been running. I mean, you don't have to be a university student to see a 45-degree curve. If it's been doing 45-degree curve, it's like when you give a picture to a kid and you say, hey, can you complete this picture? And they keep doing they just keep going up. Where is it? How far is this thing going to go?
Well, the honest answer is until infinity, in that if the fiat currency gets printed to zero, then the gold price goes to infinity. And what I mean by that is, at current valuations, right? People have been talking a lot about the US and its gold reserves and revaluing those against the US dollar. And if that's going to happen, we're looking at 40,000 US dollar gold prices. We're at 3,200 today. So, guys, that's over a 10x from here. So, where are we going? The answer is up and away. When are we going to get there? Well, how much up are we talking about?
How fast can they print cash?
Exactly. And, Trump, his tariffs, the money print is getting turned back on across the world. In China, they're handing out massive amounts of currency to stave off the negative effects of these tariffs, trying to get ahead of the curve on them so the economy doesn't collapse. All of this is mega inflationary, guys. So, people ask me, Sam, at 5,000 Aussie an ounce, is gold a bit too expensive? I'm going to tell them the same thing I told them when they asked me if gold was too expensive at 4,000 Aussie an ounce or 3,000 Aussie an ounce. Guys, what are they going to do? Stop printing currency? You've got to think of the bigger picture here.
Yep, and Bishop would obviously say you're not bullish enough.
Yep, you're not bullish enough. Absolutely. If you're asking the question, is gold going to top out at 5,000 an ounce? You are not bullish enough, guys. You're too bullish on fiat currency if you think this is the end of the gold run.
Now, Sammy, you talked about gold, and I agree with you. The gold, if we see a currency value at zero, inflation will double every month.
Yep.
And we go into hyperinflationary period, gold will just go haywire.
Bonkers. It'll defy belief.
So at 100-to-1 ratio, gold at 40,000, Australian or US?
US.
Jeez, you can't even. I mean, how would we even calculate an Australian dollar?
About 70,000 Aussie at the current exchange rate.
So that would put silver at about 7,000 an ounce on the same ratio with 100-to-1 ratio. I don't know. Does that sound about right?
So
700.
If it's 70,000, it'd be 700
an ounce
on a 1-to-100 ratio.
1-to-100 ratio.
And I'm expecting that ratio.
So a $700. So a $700 ounce silver. So what happens to people that have got silver at the moment and they go from where we are now at 30
call it 32 US,
to 700?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't calculate what X is. You've got a better X.
Yeah, that's like a 20-something X there. Yeah.
So you have whatever your stash is, could go 20-something X on a market where the Australian dollar has gone to zero or the US dollar has gone to zero.
Yep.
I mean, what can you do with that kind of wealth, Sam?
Well, the answer to me is anything you bloody want. You can take your family on a trip across the world. If they've never traveled before, maybe you can show them the world. Say that really nice place on the beachfront that you've always dreamed of buying, but it's not for you, it's for the elite. Well, now you can afford it. Whether it be a Ferrari, you've always wanted to own a Ferrari, well, now you can afford one. The idea about this stuff is it allows you to live a better life. Guys, we're not making money for the sake of money here. We're making money so that we can live better lives, so that we can give our children better lives. I mean, who doesn't want to be able to take their kids on international holidays? Who doesn't want to be able to take their kids to Disney World, right? And I can understand that most people can't afford that sort of stuff, right? Big luxurious holidays across the world for their family. We're talking huge amounts of currency for this stuff. But when you've made good choices, when you've sat yourself in the right assets and you've profited from what's going to happen anyway, you can afford to do stuff like that. I mean, for me, right, I didn't start off with wealth in this world. I built my wealth over the years and I've made good choices along the way. And now I get to live the life that I do. I'm extremely grateful for that. I'm extremely thankful that I made the choices I made. And I know that in the future, I'm going to be even more thankful that I made the choices I made. And again, it's not for the sake of money. We don't make money for the sake of money. You can't take it with you. We make money so that our families can live better lives.
Oh, well said, Sammy. And I believe that wealth gives you choices.
Absolutely.
Choices give you freedom, and
Yep.
freedom gives you life.
Yeah, and it allows you to be more charitable. I've noticed that in myself.
I totally agree with that.
The more wealth that I gain, the
Yeah.
more giving I become.
Yes.
And it's because, I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, you're looked after. It's, you know, on the airplane, you put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. My oxygen mask is well fixed. I'm now at the point where I'm helping others to put their oxygen masks on, and it feels incredible because, first of all, I'm set, right? I'm set. I'm all good. Whatever happens, I'm good. Now it's about making sure those around me are all good.
And it doesn't just have to be oxygen in that oxygen mask. There are all sorts of other things as well.
Yeah, anything you want.
You know, anything you want that makes
Yeah.
you happy, Sammy.
Yeah,
But
that's it.
anyway, but I totally agree with that sentiment. And, you know, you mentioned giving. I mean, I witnessed you going around Australia giving away thousands of dollars on the street, totally, you know,
Yep.
with impunity. And
Yep. I'm
you're not
giving away
asking.
over 10 grand today at the gold event.
Tell us quickly about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to be giving away an ounce of gold, 2 kilos of silver, and then
An
20
ounce
ounces.
of gold. What do you
Yeah.
have to do to win it?
Oh, just door prize, mate. You just got to come along.
So if you're listening to this, you've literally, you're going to draw.
You've missed out.
You've
You've
missed
missed
out.
out. By the
Sorry.
time you watch this video, you missed
Unless-
out. But there will be another conference. I will be doing more giveaways in the future. So keep an eye out. Come along to the next one.
It's extraordinary, Sammy. Honestly, that is to give away an ounce of gold.
Mhm.
That's one event I would love to be at.
Oh, well, lucky you're here, Timmy.
Oh, lucky I'm here. I just, well, Sammy, of course, it's fabulous to have you on here. Thanks for giving up your time. I know
Pleasure as
you are like the most sought after man at this event at the moment.
Oh, it's a good time to be alive.
I heard your speech was exceptionally good.
Yes. Thank you.
You know, the feedback was that you just spoke with such integrity and finesse. And for a young bloke, 28, I have to keep reminding myself, you're only 28 years of age. You're loving life.
Oh, Tim, what a bloody time, mate. My favorite assets up, pumping, my personal wealth skyrocketing
Oh.
alongside them, bringing my family into the business, helping look after them. I mean, as I said, guys, at this point, like I'm set, right? I don't matter anymore. It's those around me, bringing every.
You matter to us, Sammy.
Oh,
We got to
appreciate it,
protect
Tim.
you, Sammy.
Appreciate it. But it's about others at this point for me. Like I'm done now. I need to make sure that those who have done right by me, I do right by them, and I bring them with, because there's no point in becoming wealthy on your own. You know, what does that leave you? Lonely in a mansion? You want to bring others along with you on the journey so that you can all enjoy wealth together.
Yeah, and that's right. It's like filling up a car. Once it's full, you don't keep filling.
No,
You know, there are people in this world that keep adding more to the cup.
No.
It's like, no, don't do that.
no.
And
not
I love that. You know, you have this saying, and we were talking about this just before, at the bottom there's competition
Mhm.
and at the top there's collaboration.
Absolutely. And I see that every day where, you know, at the bottom, it's a dog eat dog world. And I completely understand that. But, you know, you rise to the top, and I mean, look at what we do together. I'm looking at collaborating with a lot of other people here today in one way or another. And it's just the way the world works.
Yep, we just keep linking arms.
Yep.
Linking arms, growing, sharing information, sharing knowledge. That's what it's about.
Yep.
So it's great to be involved in this journey, Sammy, with yourself. And of course, we're missing Bish today. He's over in Thailand.
He's over in Thailand with the family. Look,
Probably on a beach somewhere.
I'm green with envy, Bish. If you're watching this, yeah, you're living a bloody good life.
We
at the
miss you,
moment as
Bish.
well.
Come back to us.
Yeah, come back to us, mate. I know that we'll be back soon, and you'll be back in
He-
the trenches,
well,
as you say.
He's been in the gym bench pressing Bitcoin to try to pump it up a bit.
Oh, good on him. Good on him.
yes.
I mean, at 84K a coin, it's holding up really well.
You can't argue. You can't be too sad with it.
No,
It's,
no, but
you
you
know,
know, particularly
40,000.
given the state of the rest of the financial markets, I think Bitcoin's doing pretty well.
I think it's done well.
Yeah.
To be totally honest.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sammy, we'll wind it up there because we've got to get on to the thing. But here we are again, closing out at the beautiful QC and go. Where are we, Sammy?
Gold Coast,
I can't even remember where we
QT,
are.
where are QT?
We've just been away so much.
Yes.
I guess the final question I've got for you is what are you looking forward to getting out of this event the most? I mean, this comes around a couple of times a year.
Mhm.
Major sponsor, gold, silver, guru. What are you really looking to do at these events? What is your mission for Liberty
So
Bullion?
my mission at events like this is to put my business on the map. Now, I know that I'm a relative newcomer on the scene, only been open a couple of years, whereas, some of the guys here have been open 30, 40, 50 years. So I am the new kid on the block, and I want to make sure that everybody knows who Liberty Bullion is, what we're about. I want to spread the awareness of who I am and what I'm doing.
It's funny you say you're a newcomer. You're like the most famous person here. It's like, you're like, I love that old saying. It took me 10 years to become an overnight success, but
it's very true. It's very true. Look, I think about my own journey, the things that I had to learn, the experiences I have to have, and the brutality of it. Financial services. It's a cutthroat world out there. Cutting your teeth in the game is very, very difficult, but it's made me the man that I am today. And I'm thankful for the journey that I've had, ups and downs along the way. And now I get to help others, and it's fantastic.
You're doing it, Sammy. Honestly, again, lots of brotherly love, of course, but you do an incredible job. You look fabulous too, mate.
Appreciate it, mate. Well, look, you got to look the part when you're the main sponsor.
There's more gold on you than there's in probably most central bank golds, Sammy. That's probably where all the RBA gold's gone.
Oh, look, sorry guys, you can have it back later. I swear.
I don't think they're looking for it though. Strange.
No.
Michelle seems to be a little vacant on that.
Look, she seems to be pretty happy that it's all sat in the UK at the Bank of England. So.
I was waiting when Jared Rennick was interviewing her. He said, "Where's the gold?" I was just waiting for you to walk past the camera. Go, well, there it is. So Sammy's got it.
Sammy's got it.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Of course, having a great deal of fun here at QT. Got to let Sammy get back to what he's doing. As always, look after your families. I hope you've enjoyed this little podcast today. Look after your wealth, of course. And as always, Sammy,
make good choices.
Yes, make good choices, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you very soon.